We lead the team to a championship, a Pac-12 championship, and then titles and accolades for ourselves.
Do you see Eno as like a 4-year guy, or do you think there's a chance for this school?
Yeah, we'll see where that presents itself once it happens. You can't never say when you have situations like that. You know, no one knew where Nikhil was until this year started and midway through the season and where he is now. Then you can look back and look at the volume of work. So we don't really focus on that, man. We just one day at a time, you know, 1 week at a time, one game at a time.
I know you and I talked earlier in the year about implementing the fullback. How proud of you, Nick Ralston, and the job that he did?
I'm excited to have Nick back, man. Nick is an absolute joy to be around. Personality, character, and focus and detail. He's another guy that I can give the game plan, and he's going to go through it and break it down and ask questions about his assignments and what he needs to do. And so love working with Nick. Excited about having Nick and excited about seeing him get the chance to play this game for a long time.
Was the UCLA game the most snaps he played all year long?
I don't know. I think the first week he came back, it was pretty close. I don't know, but it was close. But you know, when Nick plays, we play well. We run the ball well, so things have been good. So we're going to keep playing Nick.
He's a classic unsung hero, kind of, don't you think? More than anybody else on this team, maybe?
He is. He's as close to the offensive line as possible. But we do get to throw him a bone. He did get a touchdown, get a reward. But him and Tommy and the tight ends and the offensive line, man, you can't say enough about who they are and what they do in an unselfish way.
I was just wondering, you know, obviously you were here last year when Kalen and Demario were here. You didn't redshirt Eno. He played, and he was, you know, such a part of the team. How have you seen that one-year tutelage under those guys kind of help him this year? In what ways?
Well, again, like I said, Eno was shared with you. You know, we'll all sit down and talk about the plan one day. But he knew that when he came in that I wasn't going to redshirt him because he was going to be the featured guy this year. So you have to get a guy in experience. You know, if I would have started the season off with 0 running backs that's ever touched the ball, everybody would have been like, well, holy cow. You know, here we go. But so there was no reason to risk losing Eno last year. We had 2 really good running backs last year in their own right, so we could get as much as we could out of them. And it was more so what we did with those guys and for Eno for the longevity of the program, keeping Eno fresh, getting him healthy, getting him back to 100%, and being ready to go this year was the best thing for the long term of the program.
So what are some of the things you think he maybe picked up from those guys that he's able to?
Well, when you watch and you see it, you learn. You know, the things that Eno picked up. He'll tell you the things that D-Rich did well, running hard, being physical, protection and blocking, and Kalen, his speed and how fast he played and decision making that he made when he was out in space. So he learned from those guys, and it was good that he had that opportunity.
And to what extent do you feel like it's helped kind of the game plan now that, you know, you run Eno most of the time? Last year was more of a split like Kalen and Demario. Do you think it's helped the team be more effective running the ball because they know they have the one feature back?
I don't think so. I think the numbers are close to the same. It's just impressive when you see one guy that's able to sustain and remain healthy and play and be in a position to continue to have that many carries week after week, even though I'm trying to get him down, but we end up running more and more plays. You know, and he gets more carries. Even Floyd had a career high in touches last week, but it didn't seem like that because I think Eno still had over 30-some carries. So, but the other guys are doing well, and the more that they can do, and the more that we can depend on them, the more they'll have an opportunity to play as well.
And speaking of those other guys, I thought Isaiah Floyd may have had his best game. I know that little pass coverage breakdown, but otherwise, probably his best game.
Yeah, like we talked about, you know, 2 weeks ago, I told you Floyd was ready. You know, I've evaluated him now, and he's ready to play. We have complete trust that he knows what he's going to do, and he's going to be able to do it well. So, but no, he played well. And the one protection that he missed, it wasn't really a protection. It was a run play. It was an RPO. So he's taking a track thinking he was going to get the ball on the back or blitz. You know, in his mind, he's preparing to make the guy miss, but then he ends up having to block the guy. So that happens sometimes when you have run plays, RPOs.
You see Eno, you said that Eno's a detail-oriented guy. You know, he's learned from the guys who came before. Do you see him passing down that knowledge to someone like, you know, the freshman running backs in the class?
Yeah, it's more so of an example. You know, he's not a grab a guy and look and do this. He's I come to the meeting room, I'm prepared, watch how I study, watch how I prepare, watch how I play the game. So it's for the young guys that take advantage of him being in the room. That's what he did with Kalen and D-Rich. Kalen and D-Rich didn't grab Eno and say, hey, look. No, he stood there and he watched and he learned. So that's what those young guys need to do.
when you look at the Oregon defense, especially against the run, I mean, what do you see from them? Which defense do they remind you of?
A little bit of Utah defense. They're athletic. You know, they got some long guys that can run. They got a nose that's strong and physical. Got some backers that have been playing well, have a lot of experience, and guys on the secondary on the back end that can run. So it's a talented Pac-12 team. You know, it's going to be that way every week. You know, I don't care who you play in the Pac. You got to come ready to play. So it's a challenge that we have. It's another challenge we have on the road. We gotta go in there and take the bull by the horns and go get it done.
Coach, I was talking to Cole earlier, and he said it's like having an extra offensive lineman out there with Eno because he's so cerebral. To what extent do you feel like his improved understanding of blocking schemes and improved chemistry of the offensive line has led to the consistency you've seen in his running game the last 3 years?
Well, what we did was in the spring, what Eno and I would do is that we would send him to the offensive line room. Like when we're going over day 1 and day 2 install, he doesn't need to be in there. He's already gone through 2 sprints, so he knows the basic stuff. So let's go learn the basic communication of the offensive line. Go sit in there and learn the guard and tackle in the center, and then that will help you to better understand what they're doing. So, you know, that was part of his development, part of his growth. And when running backs present themselves to me that they understand what we're doing, the further their development, the further their growth, I send them into the offensive line room. They'll start learning that. So once he learns that, now this spring he'll work as a receiver and learn the route running part and learn the backing of the defense. So now when he come back, he makes you a complete player.
Is that why sometimes you can see come off the field and go straight to the offensive line coach on the sideline to kind of
Yeah, well, he needs to go, and not so much to get feedback about him, but to go understand what changes that they're making up front, what they're doing up front, what issues we're having, and what's the solution for the problems.
How many running backs have you ever coached that actually taken the interest in what's going on the other line?
All the ones that are really good. So if they're going to be really good, they're going to play on Sunday. That's why. No guy plays on Sunday unless he's Kalen Balaj can get away with. He's probably the closest guy that can get away with because he's so big and so talented and so fast. But if you're an average human, size-wise, you better be above average mentally. So, but the kid that I have for the Falcons and the kid that I have for the Raiders, they are both mentally dialed in. So we still all talk, and they come and talk ball, and they'll be back and want to study and want to prepare. So that's what Eno has. But he knew that because I connected him with them guys a long time ago. So and that's kind of our plan and our mentorship of guys that I've coached and guys that I have coming. Not only what I do, but we send film and watch this film of the kids with the Raiders and the Falcons and what they're doing, practice film, game film, and we all talk. We critique each other. So we'll watch their game. Eno gets to critique what they're doing, what they can do better. They watch Eno game and they critique what he's doing and what he can do better. So there you go.